Okay, I got a bunch of help here from Rita 511, but I discovered a whole bunch more also, and then she discovered a bunch of stuff with Bill Murray. So I'm gonna try to organize it and post it a little bit here. But one thing I noticed at work today, and I don't think I ever talked about, was that Bill Murray was born on September 21st. So let's pull this up here. It's actually a multiple of 88. So you got March 29th is the 88th day. June 25th is 176, which is 88 and 88. September 21st is 264th day, which is 88 plus 88 plus 88. And then December 18th is the 352nd day, which is 88 plus 88 plus 88 plus 88. And literally, so only these 4 days do that within a year. But interesting that Bill Murray was born on September 21st. All right, so basically what I was talking about, how I was kind of looking through all this stuff and I noticed some patterns. Like number 22 is definitely significant in 222 with Bill Murray. But as I was going through here and I was watching some of his movies and whatnot, I discovered that there's a decent amount of the number 67. Like his mom died at age 67 in 1988. His dad died in 1967. Ghostbusters came out on 6/7. There's all kinds of them. You can go back and watch the previous video. He was the first person on David Letterman, and David Letterman is 67. And, I didn't think that much of it until I got a message here on one of my videos. It was from Rita 511, and she said that she showed me this link to Bill Murray's Twitter. And on January 9th, Bill Murray wrote, "You could give me 67 years to do something, and I wouldn't do it until the night before." Now, why 67? That's what I couldn't figure out. I mean, so 67 years. He's not even 67 years old. The guy is only, what is he? He's 64. He'll be 65 this year. So why would he write, "Give me 67 years to do something"? Well, this is even more dead proof that he did this on purpose. Look at the date. So it was January 9th, which is 1/9. And then you could give me 67 years to do something, and I wouldn't do it until the night before. So I always go to the prime numbers because they seem to use mirrors and prime numbers a whole lot of times. So 67 is a prime number. And look, it's the 19th prime number. So why would Bill Murray tweet this on 1/9, and then he writes about 67 years that has nothing to do with anything? So he did it on 1/9 and then 67, and 1/9, the 19th prime number, is 67. And she also sent me a link because I had talked about it and I never understood why. And a lot of this has to do with Michael Jordan and Space Jam and Valentines Day, and which is over Lupercalia, the wolf and whatnot. But so I guess here's the video of the Space Jam that I made. So what happens in Space Jam is they show the score when the Wayne Knight, the fat guy or whatever, he explodes away, and they show the score at 77 to 67. But then it skips away, and then the score switches over to 77 to 76, and no time goes off the clock. It's really weird. But what's interesting about that is right after it switches over, Bill Murray comes into the game. And Bill Murray is number 22. And then in this video I talked about how I didn't understand what the significance was. So it makes sense now because Bill Murray there's something to do with 67 and Bill Murray. And that's why it switches, it does the mirror, 67 to 76, and then Bill Murray comes in. And then she sent me this link here that actually talks about the Space Jam game, and it has all the stats or whatnot of the game, and it does talk about that, how it just magically changes from 77 to 67, and then it changes to 77 to 76. But interesting here, it shows the stats, and Michael Jordan was 22 of 22, so there's some 22s, and then you probably can't see it very well, but he scored 44 points. I mean, 44 is the 44th day is the beginning of Lupercalia, for one. The 44 is April 4th. It's Obama's the 44th president. There's all kinds of stuff with 44. In the other videos, I talked about Daffy Duck being number 2, and then Bill Murray is 22, and he runs a play with Daffy Duck. And so it's 2-2-2. But Daffy Duck, he was 2 for 2 in the game. So I've talked about how 49, 45, 44, they all kind of connect, and they go with Valentine's Day or the Lupercalia, or however you pronounce it. But anyway, just kind of going through here. So 67, I said, is the 19th prime number. The 67th prime number is 331, which could be 331. And 45 days after Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is the 45th day of the year, but 45 days after that is 331. Also, 67 days after Valentine's is April 22nd. And April 22nd is the 112th day of the year, so 22. And then also, it's 4 times 22 is 88. And then that is 67 days after Valentine's. So, I don't know, maybe I'm reading so much into this tweet, but it's weird that it was the 19, and then he talked about 67, and I noticed a bunch of 67. But Bill Murray will be 67 on September 21st, 2017. And he said you give him 67 years, he'll still do everything the night before. So the night before would be the 20th. So anyway, I wanted to point this out. So he was born September 21st, and then he'll be 67 in 2017. But September 21st, on the Julian calendar, if you convert it to the Gregorian calendar, it's October 4th. And October 4th is the huge 88 day, where there's 88 days left. October adds up to 88. 4th adds up to 88. Just all kinds of stuff with it. And then September 8th on the Julian calendar is September 21st on the Gregorian calendar. So that is because septum is 7 back in the day. So that's 7. So this would be 7, 8. And that was the final score in Space Jam, was 78. And if it was the night before, it would be 7-7. So I don't know if anything's going to happen or what. I don't know. But if he's talking about himself specifically, 67 years, it would be, the night before would be 7-7 of 2017. But weird that his actual birthday would be on 7-8, and that's what the Monstars scored, and then the night before would be, or that's what Michael Jordan scored after he made the last dunk, and the Monstars scored 77, and the night before would be 77. Man, I'm rambling, but hopefully that makes sense. And all I can think about is how in Space Jam, is all this has to do with Space Jam, the aliens come to take over the Toons, and they have to challenge them to a game of basketball. So it just kind of makes me wonder if if this might be the day that they're going to start the alien deception that everyone has been talking about. Because Space Jam is about aliens coming and all that. Who knows, just a theory, but kind of interesting. And just a few things I wanted to point out. June 7th is actually 6-7, and it's the 158th day. And 158 is 79 plus 79. And 79, the 22nd prime number is 79. I wrote that wrong, but all right, there, I fixed it. The 22nd prime is 79. So 79 is 158, which is June 7th, which is 6-7. And then March 8th, the day like the Malaysia flight went missing and all that, it's actually 3-8. It is the 67th day of the year. And then October 25th, there's 67 days remaining. So it's the mirror of March 8th. So then just a few other, I don't know, maybe not interesting, just kind of did. I just added and subtracted these from 67. So 1967 plus 49 is next year. And 1967 minus 49 is 1918. So 227, I know I talked about this before, but 227 is Valentine's in the Julian calendar. And the 227 is the 49th prime. And that's just one of the reasons why 49 connects to Valentine's Day and the 45, because Valentine's is the 45th day. But don't have that much time, so I'm not going to go into it in depth. But 1967 plus 45 is 2012, and minus 45 is 1922. So those are the 22 and the Valentine's Day together, with the 67 even. And then 67 plus 22 is 1989, which was a really significant year with the World Trade Center and whatnot. It was the halfway point. And then 67 minus 22 is 45. So you got the mirrors there. 67 minus 45 is 22, and 67 minus 22 is 45. So everything I said has to do with Space Jam and Michael Jordan. Bill Murray's in Space Jam. And I talked about Obama and Michael Jordan and how they're both from Chicago and all kinds of. I did a video on that before. But Bill Murray was born in Evanston, Illinois, and was raised in Wilmette, Illinois, a northern suburb of Chicago. So he grew up in Chicago. So Michael Jordan, Obama, Bill Murray, all Chicago. So I typed in Chicago 1967 just to see if anything happened in 1967. And of course, it was the Great Chicago Blizzard of 1967. And that's interesting because in the I Pet Goat movie, it's all about the weather, the snow and whatnot. Valentine's Day, and then it's the blizzard. And I talked about this before about evil being love backwards, and love is 54, so that would be the mirror 45. And they're missing the letters add up to 45. But look at the hearts. There's a heart. There's also these snowflakes over here. And then after Obama comes on here, let's see here. It goes to outside where it's snowing. All right, so here's your blizzard. Pretty strange. And then right after that, this building collapses, which I said could possibly be like maybe the Sears Tower or a building in Chicago, but that's just pure guess. So the Chicago blizzard, it says, to this day is the worst blizzard in Chicago history. And that's from 2011, so I don't know. There might have been one since then. But I just find it kind of interesting that it was a record-setting 23 inches of snow, and Michael Jordan, 23. It says the snow continuously fell on Chicago from 5:02 a.m., 52. Michael Jordan, also 88 plus 88 from 1776. It also was on the 26th and 27th day of the year. Last year, 26 was the number that went with 88 because it was 26 years before 88. And then this year is the 27th. 27 years ago was 1988, and 1927 was 88 years ago. Then it also talks about, so that was the record for a single storm, but the record was later broken for a single day by the Chicago blizzard of 1979. I talked about 79 being the 22nd prime number, 79 and 67. So here's a list of the worst blizzards ever in Chicago since the 1920s or whatever. But so it's the 23-inch one. Then there was one in 1999. And then all the rest of them, like this one was on 2/2, Groundhog's Day, 2011. Then the 1979 one, which is 22. And then there was one this year on 2/2. It says the Super Bowl blizzard. And what's interesting is that up here they even say it is interesting to note that this storm fell exactly 3 years to the day after the Groundhog Day blizzard. So that's a 23 they're mentioning, and it's also 22 because it's on Groundhog's Day.